test. I might have used some classic over a couple, but if you wanted to watch this and see how I approach all these problems, or see maybe you can notice what you did wrong. Leo swam m fewer laps than Kristen, who swam 8 laps. Write an expression for the number of laps Leo swam. Well, Leo swam m fewer than his friend Kristen. So if Kristen rode S 8, if it was 5 fewer, you could do 8 minus 5. If it was 3 fewer, you would do 8 minus 3. So if it's m fewer, it'd be 8 minus m. Cool. All right, write an equation represent the relationship and then solve it. So a number increased by 10 is equal to negative 34. And then if we solve, we get x equals negative 44. All right, we're going to solve this equation. So solving for x, and I want to do division or addition, and we've been focusing all terms, all chapter 1 by trying to undo addition, unless there's something that would stop us, but here we go. First, take away 40 from each side. And then, now we have x divided by negative 4. You're going to multiply both sides by negative 4. And that will cancel the division out. So we get 1x. And then we just need to know what negative times a negative is positive. And then, so 4 times 4 is 16, 136. Sweet. Alright, we're going to solve this one. First thing we're going to do is simplify. And we've been practicing on distributing this negative first. Multiplying the negative 2 by both of these things. So we would get 60 equals 8 minus 2z. And negative 2 times negative 7 is positive 14. Alright, then we're going to see, are there any like terms here? Well, yeah. And I'm going to rewrite it so we can see it next to it. We get 60 equals, we have negative 2z, and then it's 8 plus 14. Just move them over. So we get 60 equals negative 2z plus 22. Take away 22 from both sides. And you get 38 equals negative 2z. And divide both sides by negative 2. And you get negative 19. Approaching number 5, I got to get x by itself. So again, undo any addition or subtraction if we can, which we'll do there. We get 2/3 x equals 13. And then we know what to do. We're going to divide by the coefficient of x. So divide by 2/3. And that will cancel that, which is great. Anything divided by itself is 1, so you get x equals 13 divided by 2/3. And again, we never divide by a fraction, right? We always easier to multiply by the reciprocal. And then you get 19.5. There we go. Okay, number 6. Alright, we're going to simplify each side first, if we can. We'll get 6y minus 3y. So that'd be 3y minus 5 equals, we can do 3y, and then we have negative 10 plus 5, which is the same thing as 5 plus negative 10, which gets us negative 5, or plus negative 5. Okay, you could stop here and say y is all real numbers, or if you forgot, you could just keep going. You take away 3y, take away 3y, you get negative 5 equals negative 5. And since that's the same thing, all real numbers. Okay. Now for 7, the more challenging one. Zoom in a little bit here and slide it over in the middle. Okay, lots to do here. I'm definitely going to try to simplify each side first. So let me see if I can keep this organized with... So the first thing I'm going to do is distributive property on this side. So I get 15x over 5 plus 30 over 5. And then I'm going to distribute the negative again. So I get...
No, we didn't watch any today. And like one movie yesterday. I'm not kidding. I have more.
So this is 3x. I know, but why don't we just watch a show, Rai?
I don't know.
X minus 2x minus 8x. So it's basically 1 minus 3 minus 8. And that will get us negative 10x plus 15. Okay, and now we're down to where we can just start doing stuff to both sides, which is great. So I'm going to add 10x to both sides. That will leave me with 13x plus 6 equals 15. Then subtract 6 from both sides. And we get 13x equals 9. And then we will divide both sides by 13.
Mommy, can you call me the computers and like work?
And we get 9/13 for our answer to number 7. Okay. All right, let's jump to number 8. Okay. Number 8, a car detailing company charges $70 plus $5 per hour. Another company charges $120 plus $4 per hour. How long is a job that costs the same no matter which company is used? Maybe try to write an equation to help. We've done this. Well, one company charges $670 plus 5 per hour, and the other one does $120 plus 4 per hour. And we want to know when the cost is going to be the same, so when are they equal? So now we just solve. Take away 4h from both sides. That's okay. I get 70 plus 1h equals 120. Subtract 70. And you get that h equals 50, or 1h equals 50. So 50 hours. Sweet. All right. That's a lot of hours for detailing, but that's the answer. So hopefully that makes sense. All right, 9 and 10, which is a little tricky, but we'll go over them again. So number 9, solve for g, and there's g. So I'm going to rewrite it just for myself. Y equals 5 plus y plus 5 equals a over g. Okay, and I'm going to solve for g. So right away I see that g is in the denominator. So that means I'm going to have to multiply both sides by g because that's what I'm solving. So this cancels, so we're left with a equals g times y plus 5 equals a. And here is g again, right here. So we got to get it by itself, so we're not going to distribute. What we're going to do, we are going to divide both sides by y plus 5. This divided by this is 1. And now we have g by itself. We solve for g. G equals a over y plus 5. There we go. Number 2, we're solving this one for g. So here's our g. So we can take away 4. So take away 4. And now we just divide both sides by 5. And now you have g equals 2y minus 4 over 5. And there we go. So hopefully those make sense. You can always ask me questions in class. Find time after school or in lunch. All right, number 11. What is the solution to the absolute value of x plus 5 equals negative 10? So what numbers can we put in here that will make it equal to negative 10? And the answer is that x actually has no solution because absolute value will not come out as a negative. So we have the absolute value of x plus 5 equal to 10. There's no number whose absolute value is going to end up equaling negative 10. Not in this one. Cool. Next one. Solve this. Well, this looks okay. So what we're going to do is try to solve. And remember, we're going to try to get the absolute value by itself. So this is 2 times that. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2 first, which will get us to the absolute value of x minus 6 equals 5. All right. Undid multiplication. Now I'm going to undo absolute value. And if you remember, we spent time on this. We have to split it into 2 equations without absolute value. The first one we discovered is the same with no absolute value. And the second one is basically the same, but we're okay with what's in here becoming negative 5, and so we account for it right here. Boom. Now in 2 quick steps, we can get our 2 solutions, which is x could be 11, or x could equal 1. All right, there you go. Those are our 2 answers. All right, we'll keep going with this test here. All right, number 13. We are going to solve this. So find out what x is. I look at it. I see 2 fractions. Obviously, this is a over b equals c over d, which we can rewrite as AD equals BC because we can use cross products are equal. So I'm going to do that right now. Use cross products. So you get 3 times 4x plus 8 equals 2 times, what's on here? 2x minus 5. Great. Now we just distribute. We get 12x plus 24 equals 4x minus 10. And here, I'm not going to go too, I'm going to do some shortcuts because we should be able to start doing this a little bit faster. But for now, I think we're going to get it. Boom, found it. Negative 34 over 8. Okay. 14. Can you write an equation that has no solution? For any evidence of y using algebra or words. Okay. So an equation that has no solution would be, for example, that x plus 5 equals x plus 3. This has no solution. Along with, maybe people thought of doing absolute value equations, which would have just as worked just as well. So either of those would have worked. For the reason we talked about, you could have written down, absolute value won't equal a negative. Here we can say this has no solution. You could say this side will always be 2 more than the other side. That'd be cool. Or you could have talked about when you solve it. Could have shown some work there. Take away x. You could say no variable. Not true. Something like that. So there's a lot of options there, but big key, we have the same number of x's on both sides, either x and x or 2x, 2x, but the thing we're adding or subtracting has to be different. All right, to find a pitcher's earned run average, it's EI equals 9R. We're going to try to solve this equation for E. So here's E. I see it's times I, so I'm going to divide both sides by I. So E equals 9R over I. E represents the pitches earned. I represents the number of pitchers innings pitched. And R represents the number of earned runs allowed. So use your equation. So we're going to use the one we made, 9R over I, to find out his ERA if he's let 18 innings pitched and 18 runs. So we get 9 times the number of runs, 5, over the innings pitched. So, we plug in the runs and we plug in the innings. We get 45 over 18. I think this is divided both by 3, which makes it a little bit easier. 15 over 6. We can do it again. 3 and 3, so 5 over 2. Okay, 2.5 is the ERA. Sweet. All right, and the last one, and the extra credit I'll show how to do too. The interior angles of a triangle sum to 180. Find the value of x. Right, that means these three angles add up to 180, so I'm going to write myself an equation. 60 plus 60 plus 4x minus 80 equals 180. I'm going to combine like terms, so I get 120 plus 4x minus 80 equals 180. 4x plus 40 equals 180. 4x equals 140. And then we'll divide 140 by 4. And I'll do it over here. Aha, x equals 35. Okay, cool. And that's one approach. There's other approaches, but that's the one that I went with. I know some students say, well, if this is 60, 60, then this must equal 60. And they wrote themselves this equation, which is just as good. Awesome. All right, now for anyone for the extra credit, this is what you have to do. So we're going to solve this for B. And there's more than one approach to this. So I'm going to first undo this. I'm going to divide both sides by n over 2. Cancels that. So I have s divided by n over 2 equals a plus b. I have to simplify this, so that becomes 2s over n equals a plus b, because I have to multiply by the reciprocal. And then take away a. So b equals as over n minus a. That's tricky, but extra credit. See who could come up with it. It's a 9. Nope, that is a, wait, what is that? That's a 2. 2, come on, Sean, that's a 2. So 2s over n minus a equals b. All right, that was the answers and how I got the answers to the review.